Hey, what's going on, guys? In today's short video, I'm gonna answer the age-old question. Where the heck are all the bosses in Noita? And specifically, which of these bosses appear in Parallel Worlds or New Game Plus? Or both? Or neither? Pyramid boss? Because knowing exactly where every boss is, and if you mess up a fight or something, like say you delete one of the item drops, knowing if you can go to a parallel world to refight the boss, or if you have to go to New Game Plus to do so, could be a huge help. Anyway, this is a map of the world of Noita, with all of the boss's spawn locations circled. The red circles are just the possible spawn locations for the friend boss, Toveri. Anyway, we're gonna begin with the first logical boss, the tutorial boss, Kolmisilma. Naturally, Kolmi can be found at the bottom of the main loop of the game. If you play the game, quote-unquote, normally, then you will always find him at the bottom, if you can reach the bottom. Kolmisilma cannot be found in Parallel Worlds, but can be found in every single New Game Plus loop. Up next, we have the Pyramid boss at the, imagine this, pyramid. At the top of the pyramid. This boss normally has a phase where you can't damage it at all. It has a protective shell, but any kind of plasma, including the plasma from the evil eye, the Paha Silma, or the personal plasma beam perk, any plasma can immediately bypass this shield. This boss has the special distinction of being the only boss to not appear in either Parallel Worlds or New Game Plus. I repeat, this boss is only in the main or central world pyramid. If it runs away into the top left of the sky and you don't have a way to follow it, then whoops. That's why they put it in the pyramid. Originally, this boss was fought in the desert. A bit of early access Noita trivia for you. Moving on. Next, we have the Dragon boss, located in the Dragon Cave to the right side of the underground jungle. This petrified egg can be dug into in order to spawn the boss. This boss is not immune to freeze melee, so that's a commonly used strat, although I used something a little bit different here. The dragon does spawn in Parallel Worlds, but does not really consistently spawn in New Game Plus. But the trigger that spawns the boss may possibly spawn between two biome borders, meaning it's not very consistent and I wouldn't rely on it. But if you're planning on going deep into New Game Plus loops, then it is possible that you'll find a dragon there. Up next is the Connoisseur of Wands, the Bridge boss. Surprising absolutely none of you, this is the first boss that most of you encounter, right? It copies your projectiles, so you can make it kill itself easily with self-damage projectiles. Here I use the simple spells to power build to one-shot it. This boss can be found in Parallel Worlds and also in New Game Plus. However, in New Game Plus, the orb room it spawns from actually generates inside the lake, so you're gonna have to find it in there. Interestingly, this is the only boss that will also spawn in every Parallel World of New Game Plus as well. Now we have probably the most important boss for you to learn how to kill easily because of the power of the Greek letter spells that it drops. The High Alchemist. This boss can be found in the Ancient Alchemy Lab to the west of the mines, and you could dig straight down through the snow and ice to reach this place. Either shove some explosives right down his throat, or I'm using a piercing prickly spore pod to make really quick work of him. This boss can be found in Parallel Worlds, but not New Game Plus. Alright, now we have the Gate or Triangle boss on the right side of the Temple of the Art. Easily spawned with 3 eggs or just the Hollow Egg spell. You can kill it quickly with high damage explosions, or if you don't care about the progress, just completely erase it using any Matter Eater spells like Matter Eater, Black Hole, White Hole, or even Matasad. This boss does spawn in Parallel Worlds, but does not spawn in New Game Plus. And now we have the only boss in Noita who does not have a set spawn point, but instead it can spawn in any one of these 6 friend caves. Toveri, the friend. If you don't kill any of the small ones, you can kill this boss very easily with pretty much anything. Just sneeze on it. But if you kill all of them and fully power up this beast, well, it's only weak to drill damage from Digging Bolt, not Digging Blast, or Luminous Drill, or anything else, just Digging Bolt, as well as holy damage from Holy Lance. So just stack a bunch of crits along with either one of these damages to kill it pretty quickly. Toveri can be found in Parallel Worlds and infinitely powered up by killing all the little ones in Parallel Worlds, but it is not in New Game Plus. The Master of Masters is one of the more difficult to reach bosses in the game. You can either get there past the Triangle boss through the Magical Temple and Wizard's Den, or you can just dig straight down below the Watchtower in the desert and work your way down that way. This boss has the distinction of not only being very weak to acid, but also the only boss that you can actually drown. The Master of Masters can be found in Parallel Worlds, but cannot be found in New Game Plus. Next is the Forgotten boss. Deep below probably the most featureless and empty biome in the entire game, the Haunted Frozen Chasm. You can either work your way down there, or you can just black hole from the bottom of the lake over to it. Anyway, while it was recently discovered that you can kill this boss without the evil eye, check out this video from Dunker Slam for that. For all intents and purposes, most of us are going to be using the evil eye in order to hit this boss with explosion damage mostly. Ah, we killed you too quick. Anyway, the Forgotten can be found in Parallel Worlds, but cannot be found in New Game Plus. So if you want to do the Sun Quest in the most efficient way possible, make sure you bring multiple Sun Seeds or Sun Stones into New Game Plus. Spawning deep in the center of the power plant biome is Mecha Colmy. And while it's immune to explosion damage, it is not immune to, among other things, lightning. Mecha Colmy can also be found in Parallel Worlds, but not New Game Plus. And of course, the deepest, largest body of water in the entire game must have a boss in it, and it does, and that boss is named Leviathan. It happens to have a lot of resistances, however, it is not immune to holy damage or explosion damage, so you can exploit that by using Weakening Curse Explosion. The Leviathan is not in Parallel Worlds, but is in New Game Plus. And now, deeper in the world than any other boss, the littlest boss in the game, Tiny. Obviously, just dig down through Meat Realm. You might want to take out Meatball Boss first, so that the Meat Realm curse does not afflict you. But Tiny can be taken out extremely quickly with slice damage. Tiny cannot be found in Parallel Worlds, but can be found in New Game Plus. And now we have the first of the three newest bosses, Meatball. Meatball can be found in the bottom center of the small meat realm, on the left side of the pyramid. Very weak to fire damage, this boss has a protective field around it that, unfortunately for the poor Meatball, can be breached quite easily with enough force. A spicy micey meatball can be found in Parallel Worlds, but cannot be found in New Game Plus. And now we have one of the more difficult bosses in the game, Tapio's Vassal. At least it could be difficult if you don't have Cessation. If you do not have Cessation, then you can try to out-heal the reflect damage with either Circle of Vigor or Deadly Heal. However, to be safe, you should have Saving Grace and maybe an extra life or two as well. And then I like to use explosion damage against it. Tapion Vasali, Tapio's Vassal, cannot be found in Parallel Worlds, but can actually be found in New Game Plus. And our final boss, boss number 15, is the Rock, Kiwi, up in the Kiwi Temple in the sky. This boss can also be tricky to kill, especially if you don't have Cessation. However, this is part of the Cessation quest for a reason. But if you don't have Cessation and you don't want it, then you could just spam Circle of Vigor especially to out-heal its reflection damage. And then you could just kill it with, among other things, Plasma. The almighty Plasma. Just like Tapio's Vassal, Kiwi cannot be found in Parallel Worlds, but can actually be found in New Game Plus. Meaning that in every single New Game Plus loop, you can use this boss, specifically the Kumatis ghosts that it spawns when it dies, to farm every wand that you have in your bones folder. So if you have some extremely broken wands in there, this is your path to extreme power. And there we go, every boss that is currently in Noita. While working on this video, it made me realize that there are some glaring spots on the map that could really use a boss. Down in hell, up at the top of the tower, on the other side of the sky, in the cloudscape, maybe even in overgrown cavern, etc. It would be cool if eventually I had to make a new version of this video to cover bosses that were added in some of those places. Anyway, I hope this video helps you guys. I know that the information about whether or not these bosses are in New Game Plus or Parallel Worlds is not really out there too much, so hopefully it does help. If you did like this video and it did help you, then any amount of support at all really helps me. And I'm not talking about monetarily, I'm just saying if you want to give it a thumbs up, if you want to just type a comment down below just saying hey, then anything like that helps me tremendously. Thank you guys very much, okay? I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Happy noiting.